Subscribe the IELTS Guide channel and press the bell icon for the regular updates of IELTS video.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome to IELTS Guide channel. In the previous video, we have talked about IELTS Speaking Education Part 1 and Part 3 sample questions. In this video, we are going to talk about IELTS Speaking Education Part 2 cue card, and we are going to cover 7 cue card that will be helpful for you if the question is asked related to the education topic. And I am also going to give you 7 tips that will be helpful for you. Even we are going to cover a full example of a cue card related to the education topic. So it will be helpful for you, friends. So without any further ado, let's get started. And let me tell you one more thing, that in the next video I am going to give you a vocabularies for the education topics, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so this is our question. Describe a subject you enjoyed studying at school. You should say when and where you started studying it, what lessons were like, what made the subject different from other subjects, and explain why you enjoyed the subject. So these are the questions we should cover when we are giving the answer of this part 2 cue card. Okay, friends, so let's see the answer of this cue card. Okay, and then I am going to give you a 6 more cue card related to this, and the answer of that cue card will be similar to all of these, so it will be helpful for you. Means you are going to cover a 7 cue card in this video. So let's see the answer of this first cue card. The subject I would like to describe is social science. It was a subject taught in high school. About 1 hour is allotted every day to learn about significant historical events. For some of my classmates, it was a boring subject, but I enjoyed it a lot. I remember that our teacher distributed a syllabus on our first meeting, which served as a guide on the topics that will be discussed each week. We were assigned to read several books and other reading materials. We talked about famous people, from warriors to philosophers to artists. We discussed the wars that happened in the past. We also talked about religion, traditions, and customs of the people during the ancient time. As a subject, it required us to memorize a lot, which was a disadvantage for me and my classmates at that time because it consumed much of our time. Nevertheless, history really intrigues me. I am always curious about how humans lived in the past. I have always been interested to look into how history turned us into the present generation. It fascinates me. So this is how I end the cue card answer. Now, you might be thinking it is difficult. No, friends, I am going to give you tips that will be helpful for you so that you can understand it very well. But before that, let me give you one more thing, that if you choose to speak some other subject, right? I choose my favorite subject, that is social science. You can choose your favorite subject. So let me give you example. If you choose other subject, then what you should do, right? If you pick maths, suppose you pick math, then try to focus on the following issues, right? The first is the teacher was very good explaining the importance of the subject, right? Means you should say about teachers that the name of the teacher and the method she follow or he follow to explain the importance of the subject, right? Then you should say you learn the importance of the math for higher study, right? How it will gonna helpful for you in the future, right? And the third thing is that you learn many theories and formulas of the math. Means you can give that I have studied these things in the school days in the math subject, right? You can also give the examples of the theories, right? And then the fourth thing is that this teacher explained how the math would be helpful for the rest of the life and academic years, right? You can say about the teacher that the teacher was so good and he explained us regarding how it can be helpful for us in our future life or academic career, right? So you should include this kind of stuff for the particular subjects, right? So if you are if you are planning to speak on your favorite subjects, means you should follow this. Similarly, you can talk about any subject that you were interested in your school level. Okay, in your whole conversation you should talk about the subject itself for about 2 minutes, right? You have to talk about the topic in the 2 minutes, so you have to divide this, right? Maybe you can divide it like something like this: 1 minute about the teacher and his or her way of teaching, and for the remaining time you say about the benefits of the subject, right? So you should divide 2 minutes as per your convenience. Now let's move to the other 6 cue cards that will be also included in all these tips, right? Means if you prepare well for this example, means we have already talked about one example. If you prepare well for that example, right, if you learn all the vocabularies related that, then these 6 cue cards you can also answer easily, right? Means these 7 cue cards, 6 plus 1 example, means 7 cue card are similar, right? There are no much changes in this. So prepare well for teacher and subject, right, so that you can easily answer all these 6 cue cards, means 7 cue cards, right? So let's see, this is 6 cue cards question also. Talk about a teacher you still remember from school. Talk about a subject you enjoyed in your school. Describe something you learned from your school. Describe a teacher from your school. Describe a subject taught in your school, college or university. Talk about your favorite teacher from school, right? Means these all are the similar cue cards, right? So prepare well for 1 cue card and you can answer all the 6 cue cards. So now let's focus on the 7 tips for all these 7 cue cards. The first one that I want to tell you that you should pick a real academic subject like math, English, physics, chemistry, literature and biology to answer this cue card, right? Means you should choose a real academic subject, right? So it will be helpful for you and it will be easy for you to answer the question, right? Now let's focus on the notes, means 7 tips that will be helpful for you. The first is, do not pick a subject taught at your college or university level, as the cue card is asking you to talk about a subject taught in your school. Means if they are asking for a subject that taught in your school, then you should focus on the subject that should taught you in a school only, right? Don't choose the subject that taught you at your college or university level, right? It will be easy if you choose the school subject, right? You can prepare well and you can answer well, right? The second tip is, give a short detail what the subject, right? Means detail a subject, right? Short detail. As in the example you have seen that I talk about the social science subject, so I talk about the philosopher, artist, warriors, right, and the ancient life, right? So because the subject is related to that. And here let me give you one example so that you can get more idea. For example, the geography would discuss the earth, the other planet in the solar system, atmosphere and climate changes, etc. And you should mention those, right? Means if you are talking about the geography, then you should include this kind of things, right? Means means in case of a maths you have to include the theories and the formulas. In case of English you have to include the grammar and everything. In case of physics and chemistry, right, whatever topic, you should go in the detail of that, okay? Then third thing is that, next, describe how the teacher taught the subject and what things you learned from the class, right? How teacher helped you, the way of teaching, right? It might be also possible that teacher taught you by using some games or some special notes or some reference books, right? So you should include the way of teaching also over here. Then the fourth tip is, relate how this subject has later helped you, influenced you in your education and learning process. You can also include this topic that in the future how it helped you, right? You suppose you choose the mathematics, then you should say that it helped me a lot during my engineering and everything, right? Okay. Then the fifth thing is, mention some interesting things you learned from the class and how the teacher made things easier to understand for you, right? Again, here you should include the way of teaching and what you found interesting in the teacher, the way of in his way of teaching, right? So you should mention all these things over here. Describe how interested you were about the subject and the class, right? You should compare that yourself with the class, right? Why you like this subject? As I mentioned in my answer, that I like social science, yet there are a lot of students in the class, they found it boring, but I am really interested in this subject. And why I am interested? Because I am very curious to know about the ancient time, right, and how we change over the period of time, right? So I include that kind of things. You can include what you think for your subject, right? Just try to make yourself the cue card answer so that it will be helpful for you. And the last thing is that finally give a conclusion by mentioning how beneficial the subject for students, right? You should say that how it benefits of the subject, right? And you can end with and you can end the your answer by saying that I am fascinated by this subject, right? It will be it is a very good subject. I am still really interested in this subject, and I am moving ahead to pursue my career related to these subjects. Okay, so you can also include many things like this. So try to make the answer, try to write the answer, try to speak it on your own, make the notes, and try to speak for 2 minutes on a particular cue card. Just practice well so that it will be helpful for you, friends. And I think that that's it for today in this video, friends. And in the next video I'm going to give you a vocabularies related to the education topic, so it will be helpful for you. You can use that vocabulary in all these cue cards, right? Even we can say that all these 7 cue cards are the same. Just prepare for the one cue card, and you have to just made a little modification in your answer, right? So that you can easily answer all the 7 cue cards. So that's it for today, friends. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you found this video helpful, then please give a thumbs up, subscribe to the IELTS Guide channel, share with your friends. If I have done any mistake, then please mention in the comment section below. If you have any more ideas related to this topic, then please do mention in the comment section below. Share with us so that we can learn from each other's comment, right? I will see you in the next video. Till then, you take care, friends, and bye bye.